Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going right in the fucking clip in the cold open.
I'm going to look straight down the lens to do this.
Like, just roll your eyes a little bit, like.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, welcome to Real Reds Talk. Today we are doing a nice quick tier list because you're probably thinking, where's Eric Ten Bag and where's my FIFA stream? Well, I'm afraid there isn't going to be one today, but we thought we'd do it for a video anyway. So we're here with the two lads who would be on the FIFA stream anyway. We're here with, I'm going to go with the Sligo Shagger, Adam Gray. How you doing, mate?
Doing good, Sligo style.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm having a good day.
Yeah,
Sligo. I hope you've got a good one for me.
Oh, mate, I've got one. Got one. Okay. Straight from the COD gulag.
Okay.
We have the tyrannical teabagger, Nicholas McCabe. How you doing?
We said we was going to start this show off serious as well. The tyrannical teabagger. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to do that. Do you still do that in COD? Like teabag people?
Yeah. If it was
I was doing it earlier today.
If there's just before. I was out all day just before, and I was just teabagging someone. Yeah, I just thought he's lying down. I'm gonna go teabag him.
You've not got COVID like possibly me and Adam feel like we've got, have you?
No, I'm healthy, going strong. Cool. So I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, so today we're gonna do a United transfer rumor tier list. Got a couple of tiers I'm going to show you in just a second. We're going to go through a few names. Obviously, there's going to be a couple of names that probably should have been on there, but they're now probably either gone to other clubs or they go into other clubs. We're going to Darwin Núñez, Yves Bissouma, that kind of stuff. They're not going to be on there because they've already gone to other clubs. And then there's a couple of other guys. I think, what was the guy who went to Arsenal? Vieira.
Pablo Vieira.
Obviously, so people like that not going to be on there because they've already gone or they're on the way. So we're just going to keep to the players that are there. There's going to be a couple of categories. What I'll do, I'll just get them up on the screen now. Might as well, haven't I? Just to show everybody. Share. There we go.
The categories.
The
categories.
Top will sign. It's basically players we think pretty much are going to go to United, or if not, they will be by the end of the transfer season. Possible signing, it could end up going there. We're not quite sure yet, but there's a lot of good signs around it. Interested keeping tabs, which is basically United's favorite thing to do on every single player in the world.
Yeah.
You seem to be interested, keeping tabs, monitoring, you name your adjective. They've used it. Probably not happening. It basically means they were linked at one point, but it's not looking that likely. It's probably not going to be a thing. And there's tabloid bullshit because we know what tabloids like to do. They like to put Man United and then they put a player in it and then get some clicks because that's how transfer stories work.
The 10,000 people that we've scouted and put them in that tabloid bullshit.
Yeah.
It's got about
700 right backs.
I've put a couple of ones that would fit that category just to sort of fill it out a little bit. Yeah. Obviously, they have been reported somewhere, but obviously there's certain journalists who are a bit more, say, legit than others. So there's a cut like Fabrizio Romano, reliable journalist. The Sun, not so much. So let's get on with it, shall we? Mm-hmm. First name, the big talking point, Frankie de Jong. I think we've heard enough about him. I think we pretty much know. For me, he's probably going to end up signing for United, if not in the next couple of weeks, maybe before the end of June. He's been tabled at, I think, United tabled at like 61, 62 million, but I think Barcelona want closer to 80. There's sort of a negotiation going on. Fabrizio Romano's on it. Sky Sports tweeting about it. Every legit journalist is tweeting about it. It probably looks like it's probably nailed on. I'd put him in the will sign category. Lads, tell me if you disagree, or are we all in agreement it's probably going to happen at some point?
For me, I feel like this is just going the Maguire way when we was negotiating Maguire with Leicester, and we was like, right, we'll give you 60, and he was like, no. 65, no. 70, no. 75 plus add-ons, no. 80, yeah. Well, that's what we wanted anyway. Because I keep seeing it, like, just to remind you, Manchester United, they won 85 million euros guaranteed, which is somewhere, I think, 70 mil guaranteed in pounds. But we're still trying to throw add-ons at him on random clauses. Like, it's getting to a point now where I'm sure we're going to get into some of the Ajax's players later on. Yeah. But it's getting to a point where Ajax is just getting all the players taken. They've already sold 3 players. So
they're not letting that many players go. Like
exactly. Do you think they're going to let Timber, Anthony, and do you know what I mean? So for me, they've spent far too long on this De Jong deal. I do think, it will happen eventually. I think probably within the next 2 weeks, if I was to guess. And if we don't, then it's very worrying. So I will put him in will sign.
Will sign. Adam?
Yeah, for me, it has to be in will sign. As you said, all the top journalists are reporting on it. Slow Sports News are now coming up saying that it's looking more likely that it's going to happen. And I just think that after the season we had, it's a signing that the Glazers want that big name to make people kind of forget of everything that's happening. And I wouldn't be surprised, especially in the next coming week, given since the Glazers are taking dividends out, that it'll get over the line, because they'll want to deflect and distract. You know how our club operate. So has to be in will sign for me.
Cool. Let's drop him in there. Probably will sign. Cool. Let's go on to the next one. Probably a guy who plays in a similar position, really. Ruben Neves. I think they're not exactly the same type of player. They are quite sort of drastically different. But he could be, for me, I was talking about him for a while as a different option to De Jong. He could be an answer to our midfield problems. I was thinking he'd be probably a cheaper option, and he was probably cost about 35, 40 million. But apparently Wolves are touting 100 million or something stupid for him, which is just insane for the guy. He's not at that level. He's not a £100 million player. He's a great midfielder. He's definitely what we need. But when Yves Bissouma is going for 25 million to Tottenham, and Wolves want 100 million for Ruben Neves, something's going on there. For me, I would love it to happen, but for me, it's probably not going to happen. I don't see it happening. I think we're going all in on Frankie de Jong, and then maybe we'll get somebody else in on a smaller sort of level, somebody perhaps unknown to get in, but I don't think Ruben Neves, for me, is probably not happening. But Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, I reckon we were kind of keeping tabs at the whole situation till they quoted that price, because at the end of the day, that price will deliver our main transfer target, who is Frankie de Jong. So I say they, tested the waters there. They inquired about him, and then they heard this ridiculous offer. I was thinking that we could get him for maybe about 35 to 40 million pounds, but no, they're wanting more than double that, which for me is ridiculous.
Triple.
I know he's Premier League. Triple. I know he's Premier League proven, and at the end of the day, it's just not worth that money. No. We signed Pogba for 90 million, and they're wanting more than that. It just doesn't make sense. We've been caught with our pants down many times, but I think they're trying to learn their lesson, so it's not going to happen. So I'd probably put them in the interested, keeping tabs, but we're not going to go for him at the end of the day now. So it's probably not going to happen.
Next.
So somewhere between them.
I'd probably agree, to be honest. I think the price that they've put out is, I don't know what's going on with clubs at the minute, why they just seem to think they can just throw massive price tags on the players. It's 100 mils getting thrown about left, right, and centre for just decent players. It's weird. The market's going absolutely nuts.
Declan Rice for 100 and odd million.
50 million, 150 million. But just every club's just we're only going to sell it. Because I feel like more clubs now don't have to sell. Back in the day, in the 90s, in the Premier League especially, if you was to buy a player, you get a player off Wolves like that, if he was one of the best players there, if you're Manchester United. Now the whole format's completely changed. So that obviously has a massive effect on it. I'd put him in personally, the interested and keeping tabs, because I do think he would be an option if we couldn't get De Jong. I think we would then kind of move on to someone like that, but that's just me speculating. So I would say interested and keeping tabs.
I'm outvoted, so he's going in the interested keeping tabs option there.
Yeah.
All right, I think this one might probably fit in the tabloid bullshit one. Mason Mount.
Is he a category below tabloid bullshit?
I was going to say it's in the bin. So this came from The Sun. Obviously, everybody knows my thoughts on The Sun as a paper. I wouldn't even call it a newspaper, to be honest with you. No. But Ten Hag was monitoring, our favourite word at Manchester United, monitoring Mason Mount's contract situation, and was considering a shock move. 2 years left on his deal, but one of the lowest paid players in the squad. Basically, somebody at The Sun was trying to make a story, and news was a bit slow, so they thought we'll connect Mason Mount to Erik Ten Hag as he's new, and Mason Mount's getting paid less money than the other people in Chelsea squad. For me, it's complete tabloid bullshit. But Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd probably put us signing Wesley Sneijder above signing Mason Mount. Still at the age that Wesley Sneijder's at now. I think it's absolute crap. I've never seen more crap. When I first saw that a few weeks ago, I was like, who the fuck is being paid to write this? Mason Mount, like, he's a Chelsea. He absolutely loves Chelsea. He's got a decent contract there. I think they're going to offer him a new one. They've obviously got the situation going on at the club aside, but he's won the Champions League with him the year before, won it. In a decent squad. Why would you want to come to United, with all due respect? Because obviously I'm a United fan, but in the end, like, come on, he's not going to sign for Manchester United. No. Let's be honest.
Adam.
Yeah, never going to happen. I say the Sun, they're in their office there. Okay, we'll get a hat. We'll get a bunch of names. We're going to put them in, pull them out, the hat. And I say it landed on Mason Mount. It's just complete bullshit. At the end of the day, absolute bollocks.
Yeah, he's going in tabloid bullshit. There we go. Next one up, Matthias de Ligt. I know there was there seems to be a trend at the minute of just linking Ten Hag to former Ajax players or current Ajax players or anybody who's just been sat in a room with Ten Hag, really, at this point. And Matthias de Ligt was one of those players, and he seemed to. I did some research on it, and he seemed to be quoting from a story from, I think, 2018 when they asked him about Frankie de Jong. And would he like to play with him again? Yeah. And Matthias de Ligt was basically like, yeah, I'd love to play with him again. Would he come to Juventus? I don't know. I'm happy at Juventus, blah, 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 but I'd love to play with Frankie de Jong again. And that's basically where they got the quote from. It's like 4 years ago, Matthias de Ligt wanted to play with Frankie de Jong.
I mean, he's never going to say no, is it? He's very good friends with. Obviously, I'd like to play with him, but
he played with him at Ajax. He's his Dutch teammate. Of course, he's So for me, it's tabloid bullshit, and it's just like this example of just people just going, oh, former Ajax player or Dutch player or somebody who's been in a room with Ten Hag. Let's link him, and it's just make a story out of it. And then again, using a quote from 4 years ago, which has no relevant context to what's actually happening. It's not like he interviewed him the last couple of months and went, oh, Ten Hag's going to United and he's possibly getting Frankie de Jong. Do you want to join them? It's not that. Mm-hmm. So tabloid sensationalism again for me. But yeah, feel free, lads, go for it.
See, I'm kind of torn between probably not happening and tabloid bullshit. Because I think if you used to ask Ten Hag, if you had, a £300 million budget and you could sign two centre-backs, would you then sign Timber and De Ligt? Or would you still sign Timber and Pau Torres? Or I'm not entirely sure he would completely rule out De Ligt if he was to ask, Ten Hag personally. So, I don't know. I'll let Adam have the deciding vote because I'm stuck between. What do you think, Adam?
It's a weird one because I could see it potentially happen in the future. He runs out of contract in, I think, June 2024. His contract expires. So next year, potentially a deal could happen. A year left on the contract. You never know. But in terms of this summer, I'm probably going to put it in probably not going to happen / bullshit. So probably not going to happen.
Okay, probably not happening. Let's put it in there. Let's put him in there then. Next up, Nick's favourite player, Lisandro Martinez. Obviously, that's it. One of many. Well, all these other ones have gone to other clubs and disappointed him. So this is his next
contract extensions as well.
Yeah, this is his next hope. This is his next hope. So, there seems to be a lot of stuff linking him recently. Obviously, the Timber deal, we'll get onto him later, seems to be dead in the water. Again, another Ajax player. Again, another player who played a lot of games under Ten Hag. United apparently looking for a centre-back. He seems to be the one they're more willing to let go than anybody else. Don't seem to be wanting to let Timber go. Anthony, we will get onto later, again, is another possibility. So, for me, he's probably interested keeping tabs because, again, we want a centre-back. Is he the one we want? Who knows? I know there's a couple of options out there, and it also depends on sales as well. So that then depends on how much you can spend on a centre back, depending on who goes out. Because obviously Eric Bailly, Phil Jones, Axel Tuanzebe, stuff like they're apparently leaving the club. Aaron Wan-Bissaka possibly, so he could be an option. So for me, he's interested in keeping tabs. But let us know your opinion, lads.
I would go with possible signing because I think Timber, the thing with Van Gaal, which I'm a bit annoyed with, by the way, who's advising him on the World Cup thing. Maybe he does have his best interests at heart, who knows? But he is the one who's killed that deal dead pretty much because if we had a World Cup this summer, he'd probably be a United player right now. I would say Timber, that being. Now the deal is pretty much dead, and he's a lot of credible people saying his likelihood is that he will stay at Ajax. So I think Ten Hag still wants a player who he trusts, who he knows can play in the system, and Lisandro Martinez fits that bill. So I think for 40 million euros as well, it could be a possible signing, and I would take him because I think he's a very good player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'd have to probably agree with Nick as well. The Timber deal, given what's happened, I can probably see us inquiring about Lisandro Martinez. Ten Hag wants someone he trusts, as Nick said as well, and he's the next probably best thing as well. It's just annoying about the World Cup because we should be in the middle of a World Cup right now. We should be, but I know you'd be cheering on your team. I wouldn't be.
Yeah,
but yeah. I can.
Did Ireland not qualify, Adam?
Oh,
I thought they did they?
No.
Oh
yeah. Well, I can't.
Wales did though, didn't they? Wales did.
Yeah. I think the last World Cup we qualified for was probably Japan. Was it? I think Japan around that time.
How old was Seamus Coleman then? 40.
Was Robbie Keane still playing for you at that point?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we drew with the Germans. Robbie Keane scored an equaliser against them. It's one of the most iconic Ireland goals, but it led to a draw.
He did get cheated out of a World Cup by Thierry Henry. I remember that very thing with a handball. Yeah. I remember that, and then he years later admitted that he handballed it deliberately.
Not once, but twice. I just want to say it was twice he handballed.
He's not bitter. He's not bitter though. He's not bitter.
That wound still cuts deep. Never mind, Adam. You still got the Euros in 2 years' time, so don't worry about it.
We'll see. I'm not too confident.
Oh, the Nations League. You might get into the Nations League.
England are getting kicked out of it, so fucking hell. Lisandro Martinez and Adam, where is he going? Possible signing, interested. Yeah. Okay. Let's put him in there. Well, we just talked about Timber, so let's do Timber now. Jordan Timber, it seemed to be like all the world was going, Jordan Timber's going to sign for United. It's just a matter of time. And as Nick just alluded to, Van Gaal's kind of just kill it dead in the water, saying, if you go to United, you're probably not going to play for the Netherlands. Even though, who was it? Somebody pointed out, I can't remember what it was. There's a Dutch player who plays in the
Bergwijn, was it?
Bergwijn, yeah. He doesn't play for Tottenham, but he gets in every time the squad's announced. So he seems to be getting in Timber's ear about it because
he's bitter about United. That's all it is. He's so bitter, man. Honestly,
proper angry at United, and you can blame him because they did treat him like shit. To be fair, it seems to be dead in the water, and it seems to be rumours that he's going to sign an extension with Ajax and that he wants to stay for at least another year. So, that deal seems to be just dead in the water. And for me, it's probably going to go and probably not happening now. It's not tabloid bullshit. I think there was a lot there. I think there was many people in the know who were saying, it's definitely going to happen. But it just seems to have died a death. And for me, it's probably not happening. But let me know, lads.
He actually agreed. If what's to believe, from when I've been watching, podcasts and listening to Romano and stuff, he was keen on joining Manchester United, and that's pretty well known. He was up for it. He was ready to move, and then United and Ajax just had to agree a fee. That's completely broke down now, which is weird because at the start, end of May, start of July, that was the big hype what everyone was going on about, and a lot of people thought he would be the first signing. So it's really strange how he just all of a sudden changed his mind. He's got people around him advising him to stay at Ajax for another year, which if we're looking at it, if we take our, kind of red-tinted glasses off, maybe that is a better thing for him to stay at Ajax, develop for another year, still be in the Champions League, and then make his move to whatever club is interested in him. Because if he keeps performing how he is, that's only going to attract more interest, and then that equals more money and better teams and etc. You know how it works.
Yeah.
In regards to him signing for Manchester United, I still think there's something there, potentially, but I'll say for now, probably not happening.
Yeah. Adam?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lads, I'm joining you in the same boat. It's just not going to happen. Van Gaal has scared the absolute living daylights out of him with the comments, which I don't understand. Given that we pointed out Bergwijn as well, he always gets into the squad. Van Gaal likes to play the back five, back three, whatever you want to call it, and he'll play on that side as well. So it's really, really frustrating because for a while I thought it was going to be our first signing. I thought it'd be agreed, done deal before Frankie de Jong. But given, again, you know how we are at negotiating, we like to waste time. We could have got it wrapped up early before the comments even happened with Van Gaal, before he went to join the Netherlands. But no, that's not us. So it's probably not going to happen now.
Yeah, disappointing. Just moving on to the next one. N'Golo Kante. Obviously, our need for a defensive midfielder is, if it's not been apparently evident to everybody around the world, it's bloody evident to me. And I'm getting to this point where I'm just like, we're not going to sign a DM. I don't think we're going to sign one. I think Ten Hag is going to play with De Jong, and I don't know, De Jong and Fred, something like that, with a two pivot thing, and then I think he's probably going to play a back five or something like that, and have his wing backs, and maybe he's going to get a wing back in. So yeah, I don't think we're going to get the number 6 that we were crying out for. And I think a lot of papers, where did I get it from? Journalist Jacob Steinberg, apparently interested in signing him because he's got like 12 months left on his deal after this summer. So you could get him for a decent fee. The only issue with Kante is that he's very injury prone. Injury seems to have caught up with him. He doesn't seem to have a consistent run in him anymore. Back before, he was an absolute destroyer, probably one of the best defensive midfielders in Europe, if not the world. But seems to have fallen off it a little bit. It seems to have fallen out of favourites. Chelsea as well doesn't seem to be playing like game in, game out. For me, so probably not happening. United probably did take a look and inquired, but I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think that's the way we're going to play. I don't think we're going to get a number 6. But yeah, go for it, lads.
I was saying when he got sold from Leicester for 30 million, I was like, how have we not even taken a look at him for that price? That is ridiculous. Like, what Chelsea have got out of him on that run when they won the Champions League, he got man of the match in the final and man of the match in the semi-final. Like, he was pivotal to them winning that. He covers more ground than anyone. He's absolutely elite in that position.
Did he get man of the match in a World Cup final as well?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm pretty sure as well.
Yeah. But yeah, the way he plays is probably why he's got so many injuries now. It's because he covers that much ground. Really good on the ball as well, which I think is underrated on the ball. A lot of people obviously tout him out for his the way he tackles, interceptions, reading of the game, but actually on the ball, linking up play, he's got a decent shot on him as well. I just think he's a really, really good player. It's just a shame about his injuries. Otherwise, I would take him in a heartbeat, 100%. Yeah. Him and De Jong, Kante and De Jong. Oh, the balance on that.
Bruno up top as well.
Yeah, the balance on that would be unreal. But unfortunately, he's got that. The injuries are really starting to kick in now. So I'd probably agree with you, Sam, and put him in probably not signing.
Mm-hmm. I feel I don't know why there are different positions. This is a bit controversial as well, but I think he reminds me of Rooney running himself into the ground. He's done all the work in the early days, and as harsh as it sounds, I don't think he's going to take that next kind of step to, like, say, us. I think it's only going to go downhill from here. So I think we dodged a bullet again. I think they've learned their lessons from Varane, who I absolutely love, but look at him. He's injury prone at the end of the day. And do we want to sign another player like that who we can't really rely on fully? So
we've done it so many times. Cavani, Falcao, we've done it so many times. Yeah, it's just players who at one point were fucking absolutely amazing, but when we get them, are just absolutely riddled with injuries and just can't do it anymore. So yeah, N'Golo Kante goes in, probably not happening. Next one, is it Alessandro or Alexandro Bastoni?
Alessandro Bastoni.
Alessandro Bastoni plays for Inter Milan. Very good rated centre back. I think we were linked to him a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, the Timber deal died, and we started being linked with like Pau Torres, who we'll get onto later, Bastoni and a couple of other people. But he seems to have gone quiet on this one, and now Spurs are sort of putting in bids, and he seems to be like Spurs seems to be the ones who are like chasing him now. Obviously, he's played. Did he play under Conte?
Yeah.
So he played under Conte. So obviously Conte knows how good he is, and Conte the way Conte likes to play. So it'd be a great option for Spurs. But yeah, he seems to have died a death. So for me, it's probably not happening because I think there was an initial interest after the Timber deal, and I think Pau Torres was another option. I think Bastoni was an option, and now I think the targeting Lisandro Martinez. I think he's the sort of new focus at the minute. So yeah, for me, it's probably not happening. But Nick, I know you're a big fan of Bastoni.
Yeah, quality centre back. Everything you want in a modern defender. A fun story actually. When Conte went to Inter Milan, he was training in the reserves, I think, or something. Or he was only just sort of like dovetailing between the two. And Conte took one look at him in a training session and was like, he's going straight into my team. Put him in that left centre-back kind of role in the back five, and he's flourished ever since. He's kind of looked at now like to carry that dynasty on, because Chiellini and Bonucci are quite old now. They're going to retire soon. He's that kind of next draft pick, if you like, to be the next, for 10 years or whatever, a mainstay in that position. And I think if you look at the centre-backs that have come before him, there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but I think he can deal with that, and I think he's going to go on to be even better. So I would take him at United in a heartbeat. I'd take him over Pau Torres. I'd take him over most centre-backs. But for me, probably not happening.
Yeah, I'd have to put him in probably not happening as well. I'd love for us to sign a proper defender from the Serie A, because the Italians, at the end of the day, they know how to defend. They teach. Yeah. If you're 1-0 up, or if an Italian side is 1-0 up against you, you're in for a hard time trying to break that defense down. And Inter Milan, again, I'm not too sure what their clean sheet record is, but I can imagine it was actually really, really good, especially
under Conte.
Down to him as well. So I think it's just at that point probably not going to happen now. I think we were sniffing around for a while, but it seems like we're focusing on Martinez now at the moment. So yeah,
I you know what, I like Martinez. Sorry to put you in there, but I like Martinez, but I would take Bastoni over Martinez for 50 million. I think he's that good. Left-footed as well. Bring balance to the defense. Can do everything you want in a modern defender. 23 years old. Like, he's the one for me, the prospect.
Just like every other target that United go for is going to another team. He's probably going to end up at Spurs, isn't it? Because Spurs are spending big fucking bucks right now, and they're buying some very good players.
It'd be a great signing for him.
Where are they getting that money? Where are they getting
150 million they've got to spend. But to be honest, at the moment they've signed
Basuma.
They signed Fraser Forster, and they've signed Basuma for 25 million.
Yeah.
They signed a player from a lower league side, I believe.
Did Jed Spencer, have they signed him yet?
I think so, yeah. I think it might be him. And then it might be one more. So they haven't actually spent a load of money. It's just kind of little astute signings.
Perisic,
that's it. Yeah, on loan. Who's 31, 32. Like, don't get twisted. If the announced United have signed Perisic now at the age of 32, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck.
What are
we doing? Like, it's just an absolute waste of time. Clearly, Conte can probably get a tune out of him, so it's the only time you can look at the transfer and say, fair enough, he's on a free, it might work out, he's worked with him before. Yeah. That's it, door shut. If United signed him now, I'd be like, this is the most pointless fucking transfer I've ever seen in my life. But yeah.
Right, so he's going in, probably not happening. Moving on to one of Nick's favourite players, Christopher Nkunku. I think there was a lot of hope about him. I think there was a lot of things that we could get him that might be in for him. I know Ralph Ragnick mentioned him to the board and said, have you got a file on him? And they went, no, don't know who he is. Not bothered to scout him, not done anything about him. Yeah, which is got to be frustrating. I know Ten Hag's a big fan of his as well. He's like seen him. He's gone to watch him play, I think. But yeah, it's looking like is he signed a new deal, or is it rumored to sign a new deal?
I think he signed a deal.
He signed it.
Has he signed it? Yeah. So it seems like this one's dead in the water, unfortunately. I think they wanted 100 mil anyway, didn't they, or something stupid?
Well, there was rumours of 80, but now he's signed that contract. Now you're definitely hitting around the 100 million ballpark.
Yeah. So for me, it's probably not happening. As gutting as I am that is probably not happening, because I would love to see him at United, because he's exactly what we need. Plays in a number of different positions, tenacious, scores goals, can assist, everything we want, basically, that we're not getting from our forwards at the minute. I'd love to beat United, but for me, yeah, it's probably not happening.
It's crazy how we haven't even scouted a talent like this, even from when he was at PSG. How we haven't even had a look at him. The numbers he's put in this year, 20 plus goals, and then nearly double figures in the Champions League with a group that had City, PSG, and Bruges. I think it was Club Bruges.
Yeah.
He's put in absolute numbers this season. He can play as a second striker. He can play on the wing. He can play as an 8. He can play as a 10. He can literally play so many positions. And it would be, I said before even the window began, when we was discussing it on the show, that versatility would be key going into the summer, because we're not going to be able to fill every position. One position or two positions are going to get neglected that we need. So he could fill that void if you brought it. Instead of signing Anthony, let's say, for example, and instead of signing, I don't know, a striker, he can fill in when Ronaldo's out, and he can fill in on the right hand side if we don't sign Anthony. And he's that good, you won't see much of a difference. So it never made sense why we didn't even speak to him. I know the price tag's very high, but before the contract, he signed the contract deal. At least talk to him. I know Rangnick had a great relationship with him, so us kicking him out of the club pretty much, or saying right, he's going to go manage Austria, kind of fucked that relationship up. And I think that's where it completely went dead in the water. So probably, if there was one for saying definitely not happening, I'd put him in that, but probably not happening. I'll throw him in that.
Adam?
Yeah, I'd say after we kicked Ralph Rangnick out of the club, that's when it was dead. He was he was a key admirer of him. He recommended him to the board a lot. We should have been on it, honestly. But at the end of the day, you know how our club are run. Incompetent. They'll wait till the contract is a lot. They'll wait till the player signs the contract, and the following year they'll be in, okay, now we're interested. Yeah, but now you're going to have to pay double of what you would have got him for last year if you were keeping tabs on him. But we're not. So definitely not going to happen. No chance.
Yeah, probably not happening. Let's stick that in there. If there was another category, like you both said, we'd stick him in. Definitely not happening. So I did this list about an hour and a half ago, and I've literally just checked online, and Fabrizio's just tweeted about this fella, and he's gone somewhere else. So we could just Malcolm Mbowe.
Oh, yeah.
He's just gone to Crystal Palace in the last half hour. So I'm going to put him in, probably not happening, because there isn't a definitely not happening. But young, I think he's English as well, an English talent. It's that Derby County, played very well under Wayne Rooney. Was highly touted by Manchester United, scouted. There was a lot of sort of rumours that he was supposed to go to Man United. Apparently he's turned down a move to come to United. He's just going to Crystal Palace.
Doesn't make sense for me though, Sam, because he's another young winger. Like, we've already got Ahmad and Palestra and other guys as well who can play there. So it didn't make sense to me. They probably would have just loaned him back to the club. It wasn't one of them. But yeah, you know.
But because I was seeing loads of stuff about him recently, and I was like, I'll put him on the list, and then he's just signed for someone in the last hour. So that's gone out the window. So let's move on to Anthony. Obviously, yet another Ajax player who played under Ten Hag, who we're going to get linked with. There seems to be a lot more in this one, though, than the usual ones. Rumours of United wanting to pay 40, 50 million for him, but Ajax want more 60 to 70. We do need a right winger, because we bought a right winger in Jadon Sancho, but he's probably played his best football in the left wing, if we're all honest. So we do, again, need a right winger, because Marcus Rashford has been absolutely terrible. Ilanga's too young. He's not there yet where he can play in, week out. We saw at the end of the season, he just dropped off a cliff. So we definitely need somebody there on the right flank. We seem to be the ones sort of taking the stage for Anthony. There was rumours, we put out a story on our Instagram. Apparently United officials flew out to Amsterdam to conduct the final stages of the transfer move. So there seems to be a lot in it that it may be happening. But for me, it's in a possible signing. I think it's something we'd definitely look at. Whether he'll actually will sign or not, I'm not sure. But it seems to be there seems to be something there. But
we did a head-to-head on him, didn't we, Sam? Against Sancho, and they were very similar in a lot of in a lot of stats, like their output. I think having him, Sancho, Ronaldo would bring that balance. I really do. I think they'd both be tremendous players in terms of creativity for Ronaldo. They're both explosive. Both can beat a man really well. So I really like him as a player. Whether he can do it in the Prem or not, the Eredivisie is very different. You've seen, like you mentioned before, Bergwijn, when he went to Tottenham, and now he can hardly get a game. But in the Eredivisie, he was killing it, and he looked decent. So I don't want to jump too far and say he's going to be a star, blah, blah, blah. He looks like he's got the qualities. So, yeah, decent player, and I'd probably say we will. So I'll go bold, and I'll say we will sign him.
Interesting. Adam?
Yeah, for me, he's someone that we should really be going for. When's the last time we had somebody, who picks up the ball, they're really, really skillful, and they get the fans onto the edge of their seats?
Ronaldo.
We haven't had that in a long time. Ronaldo, yeah, probably back.
When we bought him for Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, not the current Ronaldo, but yeah, we never actually had a proper, skillful Brazilian ever in our ranks.
No, we've got Fred.
Whoa,
we've got Fred.
What's going on? Have you not seen the Maradona tricks he was doing towards the back end of the season? He was pulling out some jogger.
Cleberson. No. No love for Cleberson. Okay.
No love for Jemba.
Yeah. Alex Telles. Baller. Alex Telles. No. Okay.
Any other Brazilians? Yeah. Any others that we can get out of the bank?
We could have got Ronaldinho, I know.
Mate, I was so ready for that shit. I was so ready. I was like this far away from going to the shop and getting Ronaldinho printed on my shirt, man.
Even then, we was fucking monitoring FC.
Yeah.
Even then.
Back then.
You remember when he almost went to Blackburn? Do you remember that?
Yeah. And Aston Villa were linked with him as well.
Yeah, like the Venkies or whatever the chicken turkey people bought Blackburn. It was just throwing cash about, and they said they were going to buy Ronaldinho. That's absolutely. Imagine Ronaldinho at Blackburn.
What about Anderson as well? Remember Anderson in midfield? Yeah. The twins, Fabio and what's his name, Rafael.
Again, just proved my point. We've never had a Brazilian that can get you on the edge of their seat. But this guy, he knows how to cross a ball too, and that's massive. Yeah. None of our players, for whatever reason, can't cross the ball to Ronaldo. We have the best header probably ever. I would say, best header of the ball to ever set foot in a football pitch. Because I think he is the highest leap out of any footballer too, a world record on.
Yeah, they've got a thing in Madeira where it's from like a post with like a thing at the top of how high you can jump, and you can test if you can reach it, and it's just ridiculously high. It's absolutely insane how high it is.
This Ronaldo you're on about?
Yeah. His leap is ridiculous. It's crazy. It's unnatural how good he is at headering the ball, and we haven't utilized that much. The only header I can think of was it against Atlanta.
Yeah.
Shaw's the only guy who can cross a ball.
Yeah,
he's the only one.
Yeah, the others don't seem to like. Rashford doesn't like it. Sancho isn't really a crosser of the ball.
Elanga don't like it.
The reason why I said will sign, by the way, as well, is because I think Ten Hag loves his inverted wingers, and the fact that Darwin Núñez went to Liverpool makes me think that half of that money will be spent on Antony, just in my opinion. But Adam, what are you saying? What do you think?
Is he going in will sign or is he going possible? Which one?
I'm going to put him in will sign.
Oh, he's going bold as well. He's going bold.
He's putting his balls on the line.
Yeah,
he's putting his balls on his line.
His cradle balls.
He's juggling him.
Yeah, and swinging him over the post.
Oh, God.
That video is going to haunt you, my friend.
Yeah. I know it is. And I'm sure there's plenty of other players in there.
The hand actions as well. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay.
Moving on to Sevilla's favourite player. Shout out to Sevilla, by the way.
Yeah.
Ibrahim Sangare. Sangara?
Yeah.
Sangare?
No.
Yeah.
Bang on.
Hang on, I was expecting something else up there with Nkesi.
No, he's gone to Barca. He's gone to Barca, but he's not fucking allowed to be registered.
He's still sat in the fucking dock room, like.
Yeah. I've done my medical, lads. I've done my medical. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Can I at least train? Like, no, mate. Just wait until we do something.
Fuck off.
There you go.
We need to sell Frankie de Jong, and then you can play. Just fuck off now. he's been on United's, I guess, list, or if we have one, I assume, of like possible midfielders. We did you do a scout report, or was it a head to head?
So it was a scout report, but I did comparison. So I did a comparison from Sangare to Fred.
So Nick, I'll let Nick take you through his sort of qualities and stuff like that. But yeah, plays for PSV. Obviously, got man of the match in the Dutch Cup final, which Ten Hag lost when he was Ajax manager. Got a good look at him. Obviously, played against him a couple of times, managing the Eredivisie. So for me, he seems like a really solid option. Doesn't seem like it costs that much, to be honest. Like, it seems like a solid player.
30 million, something like that.
30 million, something like that. How old is he? 23, 22?
Yeah, 23.
23. So youngish, good age profile, would slot straight into the first team. Him, De Jong, Bruno, that's a pretty good midfield for me. Like, that works for me. So for me, I'd love for him to sign for United, but for me, it doesn't seem to be enough out there for us to be seen like looking like we're working on a deal. So for me, he'd go in interested in keeping tabs. But lads, feel free to put your opinion in.
With Sangare, right? So you mentioned that scout report I did on him then. I did a comparison with him and Fred. Even go watch it if you fancy it. If you want to, it's only like a 20-minute watch.
I'll put a link up here.
Yeah, we'll
click through.
We'll put a link in for you lot. But yeah, I compared him and Fred. And in a nutshell, basically, Fred was slightly better in the offensive stuff, but that's because he was playing more as an 8, like a free roaming 8 under Rangnick. So that made sense to me. But he was only like slight percentage higher. Then when you take a look at the defensive stats, Sangare was like significantly higher in terms of tackles per game, interceptions, all the good stuff you want from a proper DM. So you can tell, he's a specialist in that area, similar to an Ndidi, someone like that. Not at that level just yet, but that's not to say you can't progress there. Like at the very start of his career when he was at PSV, his ball control, his passing at times was a little bit off, but he's progressed in that really well. So it's not to say that he can't improve even more. We've seen that happen with loads of players. It would be a bit of a risk and a bit of a gamble to sign him. But for £30 million, you bring in a proper DM who's happy to do the dirty side of the game, put stick tackles in, give them yellow cards that Pep, like Fernandinho does all the time.
Yeah.
That kind of player, like streetwise, I think he would fit that bill. But in terms of him coming to Manchester United, I'd probably say probably not happening, to be honest.
Probably not happening. Adam.
I say we were sniffing around looking at him. I say he is on the list and he is down there, but it may be a signing that we wouldn't do this window because we seem to be wasting our time in other positions. So we wouldn't have the time. The fact that he's so cheap is the annoying part because he's a player that would instantly fix a big hole in our team.
Yeah.
He's young, he's tall. As Nick pointed out, his defensive stats are really, really good. We've lost out in Tchouaméni, of course, to Real Madrid. And this guy's just as young as well.
You say lost out. I don't even think
I don't think we're involved at any point, Adam.
Yeah. I think we were very extremely interested, but there's probably about 5 clubs in the pecking order above us. Do you know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
We were
we're losing Kamara to fucking Villa. Like, we ain't in a fucking...
We was the guy in like cord jeans in a queue outside a nightclub, and you've got all these guys in front in tuxedos, and they're like, maybe come back later on, mate, at 3 a.m. You might get in, and you're like, all right, no worries, and you kind of bobble on. Tchouaméni was never going to sign for us, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
It was a dream signing. That's all we were doing.
It was
where would you put him, Adam? Would you put him in interest to keep tabs, or is he in not happening?
I don't think he's going to happen, but I say we were interested in keeping tabs, so I'm probably going to put it in. Probably not going to happen. It might be something that we could do next year.
Let's put him in there. It's very disappointing to put him in there because I think he'd be a great player for Man United, but there you are.
To the next one. Another one of my favourite players.
Denzel Dumfries.
Yeah.
What a first name.
Again, we seem to be just Dutch players. It's all Ten Hag's Dutch, so let's just link every Dutch player that we've got. But there seems to be a little more to it, apparently. So like Sky Sports, who can be a bit hit and miss with their legitimacy. Apparently the Serie A side, Inter Milan, are ready to sell according to reports. He's well liked by Ten Hag, obviously part of the Dutch setup and stuff. So I imagine Ten Hag's got a vested interest in the Dutch setup because a lot of the players that played underneath him were Dutch. So yeah, he seems like an answer to our He's a right back. He's a right back, isn't he?
Yeah.
Seems like an answer to our right back problems because obviously Wan-Bissaka is just not going to cut it under Ten Hag. He hasn't under Ole, hasn't under Ralph. I just don't think he's the answer to our right back. Diego Dallo, pretty decent. Did some like good things under Ralph Rangnick. Sort of tailed off towards the end of the season, but again, a lot of the players did. So I don't know if that was just an effect of that. So we would, if Wan-Bissaka does leave, we probably need another right back, and it'd either be Dallo as our first choice and then get someone young or get someone from the academy in, and that they'd be our right back, or go out in the market and buy somebody first team and have Dallo as the backup. And Denzel Dumfries seems to be the answer. Well, like you said, he's played in that Inter Milan team next to Bastoni. Cannot exceed a lot of goals. Did they win the title this year? Or was it AC? AC, man. But I think they picked into it, then it was like
just
not
about
far.
Yeah, it was a couple of points in it.
So challenge for the Serie A. So yeah, he seems to be well regarded in a lot of circles. I think he'd be a great option for Manchester United, but it doesn't seem to be a lot in it. So for me, he'd go in interested in keeping tabs, because I've not heard anything against it, but I've not heard a lot for it either. I think he's on a list of people that United like and could look at if needed. But yeah, throw you guys in.
Adam, you can take this one if you want. Freshen it up a bit.
Yeah, he's a player that would, for me, start the right side. Is just pure weak at the moment. Dallo at the end of the season, he started fading off. And even at times we saw Wan-Bissaka come in and he done nothing, next to nothing. And we're right to be looking to offload him because he hasn't really offered us much, has he? Under Ollie, under that season where we finished second, he looked decent. He's made one or two blocks this season that were good. But I think was it Pablo Maldini said, if you make a tackle, you've already made a mistake because you should have been winning the ball earlier. I think
should have been in the right defensive position.
Your positioning has to be number one as a defender.
Yeah.
And I think we all love Wan-Bissaka when he goes in for one of those sliding tackles. We're all like, yeah, again. But again, like you said, he shouldn't be doing that because he should have like ran the guy out or got just. But yeah, he's not got anything going forward either, has he? He offers nothing going forward, and you thought he might develop that, and it hasn't happened. He's not shown a single ounce of improvement in that area.
If you look at the levels, someone like Reece James, Wan-Bissaka's no way near that. No way near that.
No.
And he's good. He's not good. He's actually awful when he's carrying the ball as well, when he's in possession. He looks like Bambi on ice. He just looks awkward. And we said the same about Harry Maguire. I don't want to make it all about Maguire, but he's meant to be good at, holding on to the ball, passing it. But the two of them just look like Bambi on ice whenever they're in possession of the ball.
You don't breed confidence, do they, Adam? That's all.
No. And I think the game that kind of done it for me when I was sick to death of Wan-Bissaka, I think was at Leipzig away when we went out in the Champions League.
Yeah, the back post. Angelino, that post twice. It happened. He got
twice, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And he hasn't really come back since then, I say. When you look at Denzel Dumfries now, he's really, really good at going forward. He's strong. I'll admit I haven't looked much about his defensive work. I say it's already a lot better than Dallo's anyway, but the fact that he can cross a ball, he can get forward, and he can actually carry a ball, I'd say I put him into interested, keeping tabs.
Until Van Gaal gets in his ear and says you won't play for the Dutch team.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
But let's be honest, if he did come to United, he'd probably start, wouldn't
he? Yeah.
Whereas with the centre-back options, you've still got Varane and Lindelof, so it's a bit... Yeah, I think right back's more obvious because towards the end of the season, the wing backs, as we know, were just dog shit, completely dog shit. So another area that needs freshening up. I'll throw my 2 pence in for this very quickly. Dumfries, I'm a massive fan of. I thought he had a great Euros. I had him in the start of me fantasy team and got me shitloads of points. Not just because of that, but I actually watched him and he was great in that wing back position. The only concern I have with him is if he's decent in a back four, because for Netherlands, he plays in a back five, and for Inter Milan, he plays in a back five. So I haven't really seen him in a back four and how he functions. Maybe that's something Ten Hag could work with tactically. I'm not entirely sure. I thought when they bought him from PSV, I think it might have been, and when Hakimi went to PSG for like 70 million, I thought that was really good business by him because they bought him for like 12 million. So they made like a 60 mil net profit or whatever. Very decent, astute business, which we never ever do. How much do you want for him now? Probably about 30 million. Is right back a position we're looking at this transfer market? I'd probably say no. So I'll agree with you guys and say interested, keeping tabs.
All right, let's stick him in. Interested, keeping tabs. So I threw this one in because I think this is a typical example of tabloid bullshit journalism. Calvin Phillips. Obviously, Man United, for me, needed defensive midfielder, needed a midfielder who's of that mind, breaking up play, making tackles, getting the ball up to the playmakers and stuff like that. Calvin Phillips, if he didn't play for Leeds, would be an obvious choice because he has all those qualities. He's young, he's English. It's all the things United like, but he plays for Leeds United. So it's just pretty much, it's like playing for Liverpool. If you play for Leeds, you play for Liverpool, you can't then come play for United. Just doesn't happen. So for me, it was a stupid thing to put out in the press and go, oh, United are interested in Calvin Phillips, because it's just never going to happen. Like, it isn't going to happen. It'd be like putting out a thing saying, oh, Fabinho wants to play for United. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, you're not going to get a player from Liverpool, go to Man United, or go from Leeds to Man United. It's not going to happen. For me, yeah, complete tabloid bullshit. I think he's a decent player, but again, he's English, he's United tax, so he probably, if we did went for him, he probably end up costing us about 80, 90 million. Seems to be a few rumours that City are interested in him.
Very close to signing
him. They're looking at it, so that could happen. They'll probably end up going to be paying a lot of money for him. Leeds seem to be selling all their best players at a minute. Phillips is going to see Rafinha. I think Arsenal are into him. Barca are into him. Is it Tottenham as well? They're going for him as well, Rafinha?
I'm not sure. I just think Barca and Arsenal linked me.
Yeah, so a bunch of people going after Rafinha as well. So they seem to be losing a lot of their best players. For me, yeah, it was complete utter tabloid bullshit for me, Calvin Phillips. But
I'm just going to throw him straight into tabloid now. If there's any reports about him now, I'd throw him in tabloid, because I think we was interested in him. Samuel Lucas of MEM was saying it a lot, that we were talking to him, but there was two main things. One was the price tag, because Leeds managed to stay up. So that instantly went up to like 60, 70 million, as you was alluding to then, Sam. The second thing is a Leeds boy. So signing for United, that tradition. I remember Ferdinand saying, even when he went, which was a different situation because he went from like West Ham to Leeds to United, he got absolute pelters. Had to get like security at some point. So imagine if a Leeds boy, like grown up there, you know, and then moved to United, it PR wise, everything would be a nightmare.
Alan Smith got the same as well. Like when he came from Leeds to United, like he's just he got absolutely like trashed for it. And I think luckily they weren't in the same division like afterwards. I think they got relegated like thing, but he got shit for it for the rest of his career because he for United from Leeds. Yeah.
So I'd probably agree with you now, Sam. I'd probably put him in the tabloid bullshit bit, to be honest. If there's reports of him now signing for Manchester United, I'd say.
Yeah. Adam?
Yeah, I don't know. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, yeah, because...
Okay, now you've gone.
We've lost Adam. Goodbye, Adam.
We lost him. Goodbye. Goodbye forever.
Okay, should we move on to the next one? I reckon he was probably going to agree with us, to be honest, Sam.
It's probably tabloid bullshit. Yeah. So, Pau Torres, what can we say? I think we seem to have linked with him since May, feels like.
Yeah, quite a while.
Since we reports that he was the other option should the Timber deal not happen. The Timber deal hasn't happened. I've not heard much since on Pau Torres. It seems like Chelsea is sniffing at him to replace. If Koundé failed, I think Tottenham
Christensen's gone as well, and Aspilicueta might be going, and Rudiger's gone.
Rudiger's gone. Thiago Silva's at like age, 36, 37?
38, I think he is.
38. So he's going to need replacing as well. So, yeah, he seems like a very good option. I think we did a head-to-head, didn't we? Pau Torres versus, who was it against? Timber. Yeah. So done all that. We'll link that up here as well. So yeah, it seems to have died off. It doesn't seem like it's a big thing at the minute. But for me, he's probably still interested keeping tabs. We've probably put him on a back burner for now, but I think he's still an option if we seem to be like scrambling to get a defender. For me, he's interested keeping tabs.
Yeah, Pau Torres, I know Romano said he's on the list. So if we can't sign Timber and we can't sign Sandro Martinez, I think it will be Pau Torres, to be honest. The head-to-head we did, as you mentioned then, with Timber and him, Timber was better in quite a lot of aspects when we was looking at the output. So he would be a second choice. So I'd say possible signing, because if we can't get the centre-backs landed, we'd have to go in for him. But I also agree that we're kind of interested in keeping tabs. So feel free to put him in either one, Sam. Your decision.
Yeah, let's put him in the interest of keeping tabs.
Yeah.
Finally,
this one is interesting.
Christian Eriksen. Seems to be a lot of noise about Christian Eriksen at the moment. He seems to have 3 options on the table. One is Spurs, one is staying at Brentford for another year, and then the other one is Manchester United. But apparently Spurs have failed to follow up on the initial inquiry that they made to him. So it seems to be now a 2-horse race of United and Brentford. Mm-hmm. He has said that Champions League is not a consideration, so that's good for us. I think he'd be a great rotation option for Bruno. Give Bruno a night off, playing the Europa League, playing the Cups. He can play on the right-hand side as well, which is well needed. We need that in our team because obviously we need a right winger. So if Anthony doesn't happen, I think he'd be a good option. He could slot into both sides of the pitch. But even if Anthony does happen, it's another good player to have around. He basically would just be taking up Juan Mata's spot anyway. So I think that he'd be a good option. He's a free. He's probably not going to cost that much on wages. So I think he'd be a great option. For me, I think it's a possible signing. I think we're looking at him quite heavily. I don't think it may not definitely happen, but I think it's looking like very likely for me. So it'd be an impossible signing.
Yeah, me and Adam were again discussing this last night on the show. So make sure you check that out if you haven't seen it on the new show. Is that right? New show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of.
Oh no, head to head. You did head to head.
Head to head. Sorry, my bad.
Bruno and Eriksen.
Yeah. So Bruno versus Eriksen, but was looking at stats similar again in quite a lot of in terms of the output. But yeah, Christian Eriksen, great player. Still has got it. We've seen that for Brentford. Whenever I've watched him, he was like the star player as soon as he came in. We actually discussed it, didn't we, ages ago, saying like Christian Eriksen to Brentford would be really good because they need that creative kind of player to come in and feed the likes of Ivan Toney and Bruno.
He basically pushed them up the table, didn't he? Like his output, he pushed them up the table, and they ended up with a comfortable finish. So
has a great relationship with their Danish coach Thomas Frank, and I think he would be a good asset to have next year. I think he's a utility player who could play anywhere. His calmness under pressure, when he gets pressed, is really good, and I think Ten Hag loves that in a player.
Set pieces.
Yeah,
set pieces. We need somebody on set pieces.
Quality at set pieces. Can do the eye of the needle pass. Good at dribbling. Just all around. He's got everything in his locker. A decent player, and I actually think we will sign him. I really do. Yeah, because I think on a free, you said with the wages, it won't be high wages at all. Because at Brentford, I imagine he's not on a lot. I imagine he's probably under 100k. So United will throw 100k at him easily, especially if you've got a few players going out of the door. So Christian Eriksen, I would take him happily, and I think he will sign for us. I think the players you've got there, De Jong, Antony, and Eriksen, they will be the first 3 signings, I'm going to say.
Do you think there's going to be more than 3?
Yeah, I think there's going to be 4 or 5, if I'm honest.
Let's put him in, we'll sign.
Yeah.
So before we get on to who else you think will sign that have not been linked here, is there anybody you want to change here in the will sign section? Or do you think these are for sure nailed on? De Jong, Antony, Eriksen?
If there was one where if I had a gun to my head and I had to take out or had a slight bit of doubt about, do you know what? It's probably De Jong, just because I feel like it's dragging on for so long. It's been 5-6 weeks now since Gerard Romero, who's very close to Barcelona, put that thing out saying it's 95% done, and the whole kind of Twitter just blew up. And then it's just Barca being so stubborn. And they're like, we just want 85 million, that's it. And it gets to a certain point where everyone's players are getting taken now and your targets are going to fade away soon. So there's only so long you can, you can't drag this on until August. Well, United, they probably can, but you just can't do it realistically if you want to get all these other signings done because people
We're already behind. We're already behind. We're already behind City. We're already behind Liverpool. We're already behind Spurs. So our competition right now is Arsenal, Wolves, I'd say Spurs probably not.
Arsenal, Wolves, West Ham. I'd probably
West
say.
Ham. That's our competition, and they're signing players. Like they're all signing players.
Well, look at it. City are signing Calvin Phillips. They're signing Cucurella from Brighton, and they signed Erling Haaland. Liverpool have signed Nunes, Carvalho, and a right back from the Scottish Prem, I think he is, who looks decent. Tottenham signed 3 players, as we discussed before, and they're going to sign a few more. They're going to spend 150 million. Arsenal brought people through the door. West Ham have brought someone through this is what I'm saying. So if there's going to be one that I'd pick that I think out of them, there's a possibility of not it'd be De Jong.
Yeah, for me, we're either going to pay what Barcelona want, or it's just the deal's not going to happen, is it?
Yeah.
I don't see us
easily collapse because we're both desperate for the deal to happen.
I don't see us getting a discount on this deal. I don't see Barcelona bending to what we want. So we'll either pay the money they want, or it's going to just not happen, which is unfortunate. I'd love to see Alessandro Martinez come through the door. I'd love to see that happen. I'd love to see any of these Neves and Dumfries, those two. I'd love to see Pau Torres. I'm a little unsure on. I would have preferred Timber, to be honest with you, but obviously I think he's down here for a reason. So yeah, that's kind of our tier list for now. So before we sign off, just want you to go check out all our videos on the YouTube. Nick and Adam did a head-to-head yesterday on Bruno Fernandes versus Christian Eriksen. So go check that out. There was a news show with, is it you and Dan? Was it you and Adam again?
Me and Adam.
Adam again with a news show. There's going to be no FIFA stream tonight because obviously you're watching this video.
Yeah.
So obviously watch this, like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already. We've got a Twitch channel, so we're trying to keep that going as well. So I'll probably do some streaming this week. Shiraz has been on there. Adam does occasionals on the weekend as well with Call of Duty. We've got a TikTok, which is blowing up. We've got some massive views on the TikTok, so please go check that out. Go follow our Twitter, go follow our Instagram, all over the socials. Go follow all that stuff. Nick, is there anything I'm missing?
No, I think you said the video Friday. Did you mention the transfer show?
Transfer show.
Yeah, we'll be doing that, and then maybe a little something over the weekend. I might do like a TikTok live or an Insta live or something, because I'm off on the weekend. So yeah, I think you've covered pretty much everything. Been a really fun show, and I wanted to say, just my very last point, I would probably put Bastoni now as if I could sign it, like anyone as a centre back, I'd put Bastoni. I really like him as a player. So that's another one who I was kind of like 50-50 on. But yeah, fun show. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. We'll apologise for Adam. His technical difficulties. He doesn't know what's happened.
Yeah.
For me, I think he just got bored and just quit the call. But
yeah, I think his brain has technical difficulties, to be honest. On the best of days.
Every single day, his brain has technical difficulties. Yeah. Like the video, subscribe, all the good stuff. Follow all the socials, follow the Twitch. Go watch all the videos. I'll link them all up in the cards as the video goes along. Go watch those for some more in-depth look on the stats and the players, on the news, all the good stuff. And don't go anywhere. If you want some United news, updates, transfer rumours, FIFA streams, all the good stuff. All the clips. Funny, serious, sometimes quite sad. Depending on the stream. Follow Real Reds Talk, and we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, man. Peace.